constituent. We also opined that the replacement of lost ID cards should not be part of the registration exercise, as in the past, we have all witnessed the abuse and potential re-registration that some unscrupulous individuals take advantage of. The Electoral Commission agreed with the unanimous position expressed and even indicated that it is not in their interest to disenfranchise any eligible voter. Therefore, they will meet based on our feedback and get back to us. Only for them to turn around within 24 hours to organize a press conference without any recourse to us as to why our views were not even considered. Deliberations at the IPAC meeting that will happen on Wednesday. During the IPAC meeting, which was held on Wednesday, 16th of August 2023, we inquired from the Electoral Commission why the same EC, which gazetted 1,500 registration centers during the limited registration exercise in 2019, now want to only use 268 registration centers for this exercise, bearing in mind that there hasn't been any registration exercise since the 2020 elections. Our major concerns bordered on the distance eligible registrants will have to travel, the cost, and the risk that will be associated with the whole process of registration only at the district offices of the Electoral Commission. For instance, an 18-year-old traveling all the way from Dego and other far communities within the Kwapim South constituency would have to travel all the way to Ebri, which is the district capital, which will be an inconvenience and hamper the success of the exercise. We also cited in the instance in relation to North Town, where someone would also have to travel from Japan, would have to cross the Volta River or come through Shai Osudoku to Bato, which is the district capital, for the registration. And in case the person does not have a passport and a Ghana card, they would have to transport themselves and two other guarantors, a cost many Ghanaians cannot shoulder due to the difficult times we find ourselves as a country. Similar instances were made in relation to Domi-Kwabinya and other districts which cover large area sizes, and the chaos that happened at the EC offices due to the over-concentrated numbers, which calls into question the suitability and accessibility of some of the offices of the Electoral Commission in the various districts. The poor nature of our roads, especially during this period of torrential rains, which has even resulted in some areas in the northern part of Ghana having their bridges washed away, will impede the participation of the average Ghanaian in this process and has the potential of voter suppression and even voter apathy. Furthermore, the registration at the EC offices will likely breed Goro boys who would be using the opportunity of the grantor system as a business venture, since some people might not be able to travel long distances and be waiting in queues just to guarantee for registrants. One should not also be oblivious of the fact that in past, many rushed to registration centers for the voter ID cards because it also served as a form of ID for other purposes. However, due to the introduction of the Ghana card, it means the only use of the voter ID card will be for voting, and to encourage more participation in the electoral process, the registration exercise should and must be closer to the people. Dr. Bosman Asari, a deputy chair of the EC, was very grateful for our feedback and expressed that our concerns were legitimate because even some of their own electoral officers have been complaining of long travels, sometimes about 3 hours from some communities within the same district to get to their district office. Some civil society members present also opined that to ensure the electoral process is participatory and decentralized, it should include, if not all, than some electoral areas in a cluster form, as done in the past. At least, if the EC cannot do more than 1,005 registration centers, as done in 2019, they should maintain the status quo. The electoral commissioners informed us that they have taken our concerns and will get back to us, a phrase we were well accustomed to, and so pushed further for timelines. And they indicated by close of day Monday, which would have been today. Most of us present were therefore taken aback when we only heard and saw on radio and TV that the Electoral Commission has set a date for the registration exercise and will use only their district offices as registration centers. We want to inform the general public that as political actors, we will continue to engage the EC to ensure they adopt a process that will be less burdensome and more convenient to ensure full participation and high success rate of the registration exercise. Mind you, this registration exercise might be for those who have just turned 18 or after the last election. So it is possible that most of these are in tertiary institutions. We could easily set up registration centers at those tertiary institutions to even facilitate the process of registration than limiting it to only the district offices. In any case, Regulation 2, Subsection 2 of the Public Elections Registration of Voters Regulations 2016, which is CI 91, as amended, on registration center states that in designating a place as a registration center, the Commission shall take into consideration A, the suitability of the place for use as a polling station on election day, and 2, which is more importantly, the accessibility of the place to prospective applicants for registration. Furthermore, Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana also states that every citizen of Ghana of 18 years of age or above and of sound mind has the right to vote and is entitled to be registered as a voter for the purposes of public elections and referenda. In conclusion, we also want to publicly call on the Electoral Commission through its chair, Mrs. Jane Adukwe-Mensah, to rescind their decision and make the process more accessible and painless to enable the average Ghanaian.
And when he has said, Yashiamu Hanoma, na asem kakrabi, and your person, ne Ghana Funina Eche. Nina and say, a da etoso a dunsia, ewo bosome August mu. And Electoral Commission, a fray, any a drain, kwaya ye befaso, atro ye din, ewo voter register nimu, and district level election, and so a dianim, amoni a drain, a home, na a drain to a muno, Electoral Commission editor, a year political parties are near Wohonumanim say. Omo pese ye started registration. Ewo date omo ntimi ansi ne po. Omo ka say omo pese omo ye date now from 10th to 15th September. Na omo ebe choose edan mu baako. Na omo ye ready a omo be me aswate. Ana bio mo nso Omo choose 268 district offices are omo wono. E ho na omo de omo mfidie ebe kwa akosi e de atrotro eye Ghana fo a bibi nti omo antro omo din e na Ghana fo a womo enso afe na omanya mfie dunwotwe. Na we na omo de to ya nim no ye mu bebre na ne e wo honom ye political parties no. A bit to say MPP, LPG, APC, NDP, PNC, CPP, PPP, and GFP. GCPP ɛna ɔmo de to yɛnim na yɛmu bebre na anase yɛnyina ɛka sɛ district offices na ɔmo ka sɛ yɛnkɔtwerɛ yɛdi no ɛnya de a ɛbɛboa yɛn sɛ ɔman ɛnya de a ɛbɛma ahotɔ aba ɛyɛ yɛn a ɛbɛkɔ akɔtwerɛ yɛdi no ɛfiri sɛ dodoɔ na fiti 2020 a yɛtwerɛ yɛdi no ababunu a wɔmanya 18 from 2020 no ɔmo ɛwɔ tertiary institutions ɛna ɔmo nso nkɔ school no ɔmo ɛwɔ fie nti ɛho nhyɛ da ɛmmoa nti nka yɛnkɔ back nkɔhwɛ deɛ ɛsii 2019 a ɔmo a esi ne gazette bɛyɛ te sɛ 1,500 polling stations a ɔmo gazette de ma ɛyɛ Ghana yɛde trotro yɛdi no anka yɛmfa saa process na sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a traveling from baabi te sɛ Dago edeba ɛyɛ Aburi ɛne baabi te sɛ Japan na ofiri hɔnom bɛtwa asuo ansa na baabi bebree baabi te sɛ ofiri Mpakadan ekɔ Atimpoku akɔtwerɛ wodi baabi bebree yɛ cite example na yɛkaeɛ no ɛna EC through Dr. Bosman Asari ɛne Mr. Samuel Tete deputy chairs a ɔmo hɔnom present ɔmo say deɛ yɛka no ɛyɛ asɛm papa nti deɛ ɔmo bɛyɛ ne sɛ ɔmo kɔ na ɔmo akɔ dwene ho na ɔmo aba back na ɔmo ne yaba abɛdi nkɔmɔ na ɔmo ne adi nkɔmɔ ne wie a ɔmo de aba abɛto ɛyɛ Ghanafoɔ anim yɛnka bi anhyɛm yɛda sɔre yɛ 17th of August na de kyerɛ pɛpɛɛpɛ awia mu bɛyɛ te sɛ saa bere ya ɛne yɛte sɛ EC chair saa da no a yɛyɛ saa meeting no koraa no me ankasa during AOB mebisa sɛ maame no ɛfiri 2020 a yɛto aba wie 2021 ɛba no yɛhu na meeting bi ase da ɛyɛ IPAC yɛbɛbisa no ase biara nso yɛsɛ ɔyɛ foreign engagement nti mekora metɔkɔ so bisa sɛ n'adwuma no ɛyɛ foreign engagement nti anaasɛ ɛyɛ Ghanafoɔ nti ne ɛto a yɛyi ne sɛ ɔma mɛda ɛyɛ the electoral commission ano deɛ hu ya ne sɛ ɔyɛ press conference nti mehu sɛ electoral commission hɔnom no sɛ coordination ɛnkɔ so sɛ dɛn because the deputies n'asɛm a ɔmo de to political parties anim ɛne deɛ adeɛ kyee ɔno nso ɛbɛtena ase yɛn no ɛbɔ abra ɛna sɛ wotɔ akɔ so yie kura na ɛnkyerɛ buo ɛmfa ma ɛyɛ the political parties ɛnna saa da no civil society organizations a ɛwɔ hɔnom bebree deɛ ɔma no to asɛm no mu bi sɛ ɛyɛ Ghanafoɔ na mobɛtwerɛ din de ama yɛn yɛkɔba ne se a na yɛte sɛ yɛbu anaasɛ yɛbu Ghanafoɔ animtia anaasɛ sika na ɛni hɔnom anaasɛ kwan bɛn so nti ɛna ɛwɔ sɛ ɛkɔba ne saa sɛ by force mo district offices ne pɛ ɛna mokɔ akɔtwerɛ din nti ɛnyɛ sɛ political parties nkwampo ɛna ɛkasa saa da no CSOs enso de ɔma no to mu bi nti adeɛ kyee a ɛyɛ yɛ EC chair samba abɔnten bɛyɛ saa no ɛyɛ yɛn nwanwa kakra ɛne ɛsɛ bebree sɛsi a no ɛho nhyɛ da nya yɛ nti sɛ ɛpɛ sɛ DLE no ɛkɔ so yɛ yɛ district level election ɛkɔ so yɛ a ɛwɔ sɛ yɛ ni bre na yɛ ma education ne kɔ ne yɛ ma yɛ babunu no nso ɛyɛ easy access for them to register since yɛde kɔsi baabi a ɔmo bɛbrɛ ansa na ɔmo tumi atwerɛ ɔmo din no electoral commission yɛsrɛ mo ani die mu wɔnti ɛne aba mo so awia yi mo wɔ hɔnom sɛ mo serve Ghanafoɔ nti Ghanafoɔ se district offices no ɛmmoa momfa bi nka ho te sɛ deɛ a moyɛ ne 2019 no na mpo montum Sir, a basse, dear ye, someone tiasia. You will leave us with no other, you say, you better contest mo. Because Ghana for no, or more do, any arresimu, ever young political parties, ya, ye te hai, imu. Enti yanso, ye jina, ni akuomoko ama abebruno. So parties are any representation our parliament abebruno and a kanya hopa. Enti ye ni abrese ye be akuomoko e de amomo. Afi ene de atoato aso enyina yada mo se awie yi.
Oh, okay. Oh, then go ahead.
Okay, and the tiane say ye ti ayete hanne no enya data omode ye registration no and ye problem. Ye problem ne say baby a almost a honomo pe and now omode be your almost registration centers. Ebema abebruno inya kwan enkonko register. And the purpose of sa registration, you know, a DLE, district level election. Now DLE, you know, always the turnout very low. Even your last time I DLE, the turnout was below 40%. Inti adia yenya dodwa yepe. Na yamfa entwa ya manfo ewo omo fiem na enya kono enya ho keka emfa ma omo but rather yes am be ma omo stress ya be ma omo bre ya be ma omo timfifre omo akopa bosia ansa na omo timi akotoro omo din no minim sa electoral commission womo anya sa no mo hwehwe no enti no yen asade se ye betwe omo adwene de asiso say ne be ma turnout no improve se ne be ya nipa dodo na betimi atro omo din na omo akoto aba no hwe every 2020 aye tro Ghana for din no 2020 na ebi munya 18 a omo ntro omo din 2021 ebi munya 18 omo ntro omo din 2022 ebi munya 18 womu ntro omudin 2023 ya ye womu and na ebi munya 18 and we don't even know the number and now womunya 18 omo chance on betro omudin intine se ya ma ye ni amre anticipated number now omo de ato onum no every time we go beyond that number 2020 omo propose figure you go beyond that figure. And away now, share the cluster of years. Share number of the cluster of people at Tiffy. And the number of years a total so I introduce. Omo I data omo there to jano. They will never number omo there to jano. They will never get that number. It is going to go triple or quadruple that number.
Okay. So, Jay, may I answer back on the 17 million? Can I answer?
Yeah.
Oh, do you all have to swap?
Yes. No.
Okay, my place is okay. My brother talked about Minkachi and Minka Brofo. Minkachi. In a tree for my take you over. Mimi Abeme, because I not see easy for say, Oma register 17 million people and more on the voter register. Intino say Oma enya we num nyina kra enya hwe. It is not right because obi anywhere SSA ye disenfranchised Ghana ni bia ne mra so se woto aba no SSA otimi to aba. Isi adwuma wo ye ne say obe make sure say elections ene abato ho nsem be ko pepepe. Intino ye woni pa wo register ya the fact that say was 17 million on the register and no nkyere say 1.5 no enisi e de wo ka ho the right of every Ghanaian say obetimi aye de ato aba ne enkola no so a omedi 18 and above yen register it is also their right it is intimi in case of 17 million intino obetimi aye exercise we anyhow enye right ontimi nyɛ saa na adwuma ne sɛ sɛ otimi ɛyɛ registration na adwuma ne sɛ otimi conduct elections in a manner ɛbɛboa Ghanafoɔ nyinaa na ɛde deɛ bɛn asomdwie bɛba nti sɛ isi otimi keka no ho no oti asɛm a yɛka no so that at the end of the day no obia nyɛ dissatisfied obia bɛyɛ happy sɛ ɔno so betimi ayɛ den ato aba.
And to add on, the 1,005 registration centers, it was even because it was based on the referendum that was going to happen. So it was only done in the affected areas. So the regions, remember we're going to create more regions. So the registration was done even without concentration. So even that 1,005, if you are looking at just some concentrated places and you use 1,005, why there, CCR now you are looking at the entire country, you are only going to restrict it to 268.
So there's a follow-up. This is Sanka said, 30 years after democracy, we have to move on as a country. In the process of moving on, electoral areas, and I even used passport as an example. And EC came back said, Obi a ope passport bia but we fee baby or one open crime. But omodi eno kura no yen crime na omodi ade no e dia for. Omodi akọ district offices. It is obi pese ordinary card na obekọ district office na okenya sa card nto o say Ghana's democracy has moved on. Nto o say you moving on.
And in moving on, you rather should ensure that you are getting more accessibility, you are getting more closer to the people. You can't move on and rather pull back. So I think even the passport offices, they are now decentralizing. The police, they were now, even their police reports, well, first at the headquarters, now they are getting it closer to the people. So I don't think that if you want to move on and our democracy is of age, we should rather be limiting it to our district offices when we know that is always problematic. Because, I mean, we are just sitting in Accra. Even Accra, Domi Kwabinya. Look at how large Domi Kwabinya is. And we are talking about people who are young. For them to have money for transport, for them to have the time. Because if you are how do you leave your work, travel all the way to the district office? Sometimes you might not even finish. And you have to go back another day. Look at the long queues. And it becomes problematic. You can imagine if some political parties are putting buses and are passing people. You can imagine the chaos. So the one bus get there, then some people say, where are these people coming from? We don't know them. So we can imagine the chaos that could happen. And when these things also happen at the district offices, the problem is that at the day of voting, you realize that somebody doesn't know their polling station because they went to the district office to go and register. Which station have they put them to? Because then it becomes another problem. So that it's problematic. If we are moving on as a democracy, we should rather be more accessible to the people than to be saying we want to centralize everything at the district offices.
Press conference
Oh, yeah,
I know now my candidate was say after this, almost just 4 days. We are moving on. We are contesting Saturday now. Or more, because Ghana for Wajide Wayamu. And a Ghana for a year do be Swama. And a yai and ya fatu as political party leaders. Inti Minya Ababnu. Wa wants to be been to intro din Kawakoma to him. Yani isi di besiani Amau. Isi ebe ba na so no abetro di ama anwene se wo betua kaska kwantenten yani isi di besia ni kopem se isi ede the registration center ne beba besi wo abobo ano.
We'll take the next round of 2 questions.
In your submission you made it clear.
Give your name and where you're from.
My name is Frederick Claudius Williams from Metro TV.
Okay.
In your submission you made it clear to us that during the IPAC meeting there are so many views concerning creation of what the centers for accessibility. Now, my question has to do with, so with all the views that goes on during the meeting at the IPAC meeting, does it bind the EC to do it or to do otherwise?
We'll take the next question and then we'll answer.
Right.
Your name and where you are coming from?
Okay. My name is Peter Atasok. I was in TV3. So, you said you were going to contest it. And which way are you going to contest? Are you going to, because you want to be clear, are you going to place injunction on AEC, or which form of contestation are you adopting?
Peter, we are still talking to Yempening for, and contest is in various ways. Until when we get there, we will let you know. And Minia.
Now what did you
All right. Okay.
You want to take that? Come ahead. Yes, you can be there. Oh, this is your thing here.
Oh,
this one. No.
It limits. So I think I can sit here. Here will be fine, isn't it? Yes.
That will be fine.
In response to the gentleman from Metro TV, IPAC, the real essence of the formation of IPAC, it's an advisory body. The Electoral Commission cannot work without political parties, and in the same vein, political parties must also work with the Electoral Commission. The views in which political parties brought together, at least one of the first times where political parties had a unanimous, decision on that, to tell the Electoral Commission to make sure that we add additional registration centers. That is where the controversy is. So, Electoral Commission, as an institution, cannot take a decision without the advice of political parties. So in the same vein, on that day, the Electoral Commission said they were going to get back to us on the Monday, and they acted in bad faith. Even not up to Monday, they came up with a release, contrary to what we had discussed at the IPAC. So you see, they are being unfair to the country, and they are being unfair to political parties, and they are undermining democracy as a whole. Because this press conference that we are doing basically is for the good people of Ghana. Why would we intentionally want to disenfranchise the good people of Ghana? Like we rightly mentioned in the statement, for the past years, a lot of Ghanaians have turned 18. So why don't we maintain the same status quo where we had additional registration centers, and as a result of that, we were able to get the numbers to come out and register? Instead of changing the whole thing, what is the intention of the Electoral Commission? Why would you go ahead to act in bad faith at the meeting? So basically, with regards to whatever action we would take if they do not hear, if the Electoral Commission really wants the progress of Ghana to build a sound democracy, they must listen to the good people of Ghana, because it is a nationalistic agenda and it is not only a political party's agenda for us to have everybody registered and partake in our democracy.
Can I add a little bit? You said something about whether the discussions we have there are binding. And I think that is the key word. The key word is binding. It might not be binding because IPAC is not legislated, but it is also a mutual agreement, and it is not a servant-master relationship at IPAC. We are there representing the people of Ghana. And the people of Ghana have reposed their trust in us to go to IPAC to be able to talk about what is important to them. So this agreement is there. And once it's not a servant-master relationship, it is something that we all discuss to make sure that the system of elections and the electoral system is well regulated. It might not be binding as in law, but it is binding as in the relationship that we have. That whatever discussions we have there, it should be a mutual agreement between two. The moment one person or one party feels superior, that they can just come and give us information without taking our input, then it becomes something else. Then the relationship is destroyed. It is not legislated, but we also think that as time goes on, to make IPAC very strong, we need to legislate IPAC. There should be a law that would make whatever decisions we take there binding. So at the end of the day, the EC cannot shove and walk over IPAC. IPAC is a very important body within the electoral system. And we believe, as parties outside Parliament, that the time has come for us to move forward a legislation for IPAC to be legislated by law.
Let me quickly add something, please. Very, very important. As for your life, then, it's not what we read. I think the Adom man asked a question that during the conference of the EC, he posed a question to them, and then they said, after 30 years, the EC should move on, implying that they were not obliged to do what they did in 2019, which I think is wrong. The circumstances are not the same. If you look at the conditions that will make EC move on without going through that modality or process, is first of all, there have been a problem about the ID for registration. There is a CI that has been placed in Parliament that had not come through. And for that matter, the EC was obliged to adopt the CI 91, 2016, is it, as amended. But the problem is that, if you talk about passport and those things, at least everybody who needs passport, and how many of them really even go through that process? You have to come, the long way that they come cannot be compared, to the situation of the EC. In the first place, it is not compulsory for anybody to acquire passport, but the entitlement and the right to vote, is embedded in law. And, you cannot take that away from anybody. The only way or the only time that probably the EC can say after 30 years of our democracy, it can move on, without the process that we are talking about now, will be when everybody is satisfied that they are holding the identification card for which they can walk to the EC's office and do a registration. Unfortunately, we cannot say that is the situation now. So that does not hold at all, and it's clear. Of course, IPAC for us is a persuasive process, and IPAC, as we see it, we represent the public, with the EC. Even though the EC is a constitutional body, it has got its own law to do what it wants to do. It must do so with enough, at least, information, with discretion, and making sure that at least the sensibility that hangs around elections do not ruin this country. It is very, very, sensitive, that if EC should just take any action unduly, without, of course, recourse to the public, which we represent, with them, civil society organizations and political parties all together, representing, we are a macrocosm of the general public. If we are not there and they did anything, I think the public will work on them. And of course, we are the bastion for them. In fact, it is in their interest to listen to us, even though we cannot say in law that, it is binding, whatever we do. And more particularly, that's what I'm saying. It is the right of people to make sure that at least they acquire the right to vote. They must not be disenfranchised. Thank you very much.
Okay. Follow-up question from Mr. Peter, and then we'll have William again.
This is not the first time we are hearing the EC ignoring or taking the IPAC for granted. So coming to this point, will you say that the relevance of IPAC is not there? Before this legislation you are talking about, what do you think should be done so that EC take the IPAC for a body that needs to be respected?
Thank you very much. You see, it is an interactive process. And what we are doing here shows how IPAC is relevant. We are demonstrating to the nation that IPAC is very, very relevant. We are acting on their behalf. So as a matter of fact, contrary to the question you are posing, I don't think EC is not seen as relevant. But from time to time, if you have two parties interacting, one might want to have their way. And not until, and that is exactly what we are trying to resolve here. They ignored decisions that were taken on the 16th of August, ran with their own arrangements, and then addressed the nation, in a press conference. Unfortunately, that went, counter to the general decisions that were taken there, and that's why we're also doing this. So it is interactive. At the end of the day, it's the court of public opinion is for both of us. So they have come, and we have also come, and then we are saying that no, we don't agree. Okay, it is not the general, it's not the entire nation that is maybe roaring and going after them, but rather it is us political parties, also in conjunction with civil society organizations who were present, who are now seated here and saying that what they did was wrong because they went their own way, and today we are also coming our own way, addressing the entire nation.
Okay, Peter. Peter. No cry I woman no. EC for the first time our parties in present agree on a particular thing, and almost a swindle ye. And I say almost alpha kwatikwanso ayɛ deɛ ɔmo apɛ, and as ɔmo abɔ yɛn decision now you take it that day no. For the first time, parties present, nyinaa dwene baako. Ɔmo abɔ agu. Enti asɛm a wɔka sɛ EC ɛtaayɛ no. Ɛnyɛ saa na yɛka. For the first time ɔmo ayɛ saa deɛ no. Sɛ parties nyinaa ɛna ɛnyɛ parties nkwa na yɛ present. CSO sɛ ɛwɔ hɔ nyinaa ɛka bi. Ɛma ɔmo EC na nkasa representatives. And so I can be. Sir, young woman and copperman, only for them to until so tear me casa any muya. Messi easy channel or maybe into a beer when tear briefing from them and okutu sana mono. Sana me dear mehuno because yenina I ano babem chrome. Emma, final asamaya de sorry so say they will get back to us. Into a quiet term, and what Honor say we will get back to you. And I see the BI you will get back to us. And I did serious and you're sorry. But almost a maconswa and who could hear and pound so yet. Sir, or mobile replacing or more cards at this same place and same time. Within 21 days, 3 weeks. I know your day. Nina County digital society. District offices in Entum because they are very hectic and tedious. For almost and now almost machines, ebe jam, ebe slow down, ebe whatever. Ghana for be prepare. Enti mame no nsa na adwen. Easy mame no. What's the son again?
So William and one more person.
Yeah.
William.
Thank you again.